Listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you might make you run to check every coin in your pocket right to. On this channel, USA Coin Reveal, we expose coins that look completely ordinary, but are actually hidden treasure coins worth serious money. And today's video is about 4 super rare Lincoln Wheat penny coins that collectors quietly chase. Coins most people spend every day without thinking. Do not spend these coins. I'm serious, do not spend them. Some of these old pennies are a silent fortune, a piece of quiet wealth that could change everything the moment a collector sees it. Secret collectors want these coins, and the auction world goes into shock when they appear. These coins are a life-changing opportunity, and nobody talks about them because the people who understand their value are busy hunting them. If you have one of these coins, it means you're holding a fortune and you might not even know it. Stay with me until the end, because each coin gets rarer, more shocking, and more dangerous to ignore. These coins are special, and what comes next might make you realize the hidden treasure sitting in your pocket right now. First coin. Now let's talk about the first coin. And you need to pay attention because this one hides in plain sight. The Lincoln Wheat penny from 1910, without a mint mark, looks like a simple old penny most people would toss into a jar or spend without hesitation. But ignoring this coin could be one of the biggest mistakes a collector or an everyday person could make. This penny is a silent survivor from an era when America was rapidly transforming. The year 1910 was a powerful moment in United States history. Industry was booming. Railroads were expanding. Cities were growing fast, and the nation was stepping into a new economic future. Money moved quickly through the hands of workers, merchants, and families, and pennies like this traveled everywhere. They were spent, dropped, lost, and worn down by time. But a small number survived with their original surfaces intact, quietly aging while the world changed around them. The design of this coin is one of the most recognizable in American history. On the front, you see the strong profile of President Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of leadership and endurance. This design was created by sculptor Victor David Brenner, and when the Lincoln cent debuted just a year earlier, it shocked the coin world because it was the first regular United States coin to feature a real historical figure. The reverse shows the iconic wheat ears framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. Those wheat stalks symbolize prosperity, growth, and the agricultural backbone of the nation at the time. Holding this coin feels like holding a small but powerful fragment of American history. This penny is made primarily from copper, about 95% copper with small amounts of tin and zinc blended in. That copper composition gives the coin its warm brown color and the ability to develop beautiful, natural toning over decades. When collectors see an original light brown surface that has aged naturally, they immediately recognize authenticity. Artificially cleaned coins lose that character instantly, and the value collapses. That is why experienced collectors repeat the same warning again and again: never clean a rare coin. The natural surface is the story, the fingerprint of time, and once it is destroyed, it can never be restored. Physically, the coin feels small but solid. It weighs about 3.11 grams, measures roughly 19 millimeters across in diameter, and carries a thin but distinct thickness of about 1.5 millimeters. When you hold it, you feel the subtle, ridgeless edge and the smooth copper surface that has survived more than a century of circulation. Every tiny mark on that surface tells a story. Every tone shift from light brown to deeper copper shades reflects decades of quiet aging. The absence of a mint mark is another critical detail collectors obsess over. No mint mark means this coin came from the Philadelphia Mint, the historic heart of American coin production. During 1910, the minting presses worked hard to meet demand as the economy grew. Heavy production meant coins were struck quickly, and many pieces entered circulation with small strike variations or subtle surface characteristics. Those tiny details, sharp letters, strong wheat lines, original toning, are the clues that serious collectors hunt for. But here's the reality most people don't realize. Very few of these coins survived in almost fine condition with their original light brown surface still visible. Most were worn flat through decades of use. Others were cleaned by well-meaning owners who unknowingly destroyed their value. The coins that escaped those fates became extremely desirable in the collector market. When one appears in a serious auction, the room becomes quiet. Bidders study the coin carefully. Then the numbers start climbing, sometimes aggressively, because everyone in that room understands the same truth. Coins like this do not appear often here. Collectors are not just buying a penny. They are securing a historical survivor, a piece of early 20th century America that still carries its authentic skin. And that is exactly why demand keeps rising while the supply keeps shrinking. Many collectors who own examples like this simply refuse to sell. They hold them quietly, waiting as the market grows stronger year after year. Now here is the moment that makes people stop breathing for a second. The current market value of a 1910 Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark in almost fine condition with original light brown surfaces is around $420,000 in today's collector market. This is not fiction. This is real auction behavior driven by passionate collectors who understand what they are looking at. That tiny copper coin can represent serious money, hidden wealth, a silent fortune sitting quietly in someone's drawer or coin jar. And that is why you must hear this warning clearly. Do not spend this coin if you ever find one. Do not clean it. Do not polish it. Do not try to make it shiny. Those mistakes erase value instantly. The smartest move is to protect the coin and have it professionally graded by a trusted grading service so its authenticity and condition are preserved. Patience is golden in the coin world, and sometimes waiting allows the market to recognize the full power of what you are holding. Take a close look at every old penny you see. Pay attention to the date, the mint mark, and the surface color. That small detail might change everything. Hidden treasure coins like this exist in places people never expect. Old jars, inherited collections, forgotten drawers. Every day, someone unknowingly spends a coin that collectors would fight to own. And stay with me, because the next coin on this list is even more shocking. It's rarer, more dangerous to ignore, and when collectors see it, the bidding becomes intense. If you thought this first penny was powerful, wait until you see what comes next. Coin number 2. Now, the story gets even more intense, because the next coin is one of those quiet treasures that slips through people's fingers every single day without them realizing what they just spent. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out an old penny, and tossing it aside because it looks dark, worn, and ordinary. That exact moment, right there, is how hidden fortunes disappear. The Lincoln wheat penny from 1920 without a mint mark is one of those coins collectors whisper about. It doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't shine like modern coins. Instead, it sits quietly with a deep, dark, original layer that only experienced collectors recognize as a powerful sign of authenticity. This is the kind of coin that can be hiding in a drawer, a jar, or a forgotten collection while the world keeps moving, completely unaware that a silent fortune is sitting there waiting to be discovered. To understand why this coin carries such intense demand, you have to step back into the year 1920 in the United States. The nation had just emerged from the shock and sacrifice of World War I, and the economy was shifting rapidly. Factories that once produced wartime equipment were transitioning back into consumer production. Cities were growing, new technologies were appearing, and money moved through the economy at an incredible speed. Pennies were essential to everyday life. They passed through grocery counters, train stations, markets, and street vendors. Most coins from that time experienced heavy circulation, scratches, and endless handling. Very few survived with their natural character still intact. That is why a 1920 penny with an original dark layer and almost fine condition instantly grabs the attention of serious collectors. The design itself is iconic. On the front of the coin, you see the unmistakable portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of strength and unity in American history. This portrait was created by the talented sculptor Victor David Brenner, and it changed the entire direction of American coin design when it first appeared. Instead of a symbolic figure, the coin featured a real historical leader whose legacy shaped the nation. When collectors study the front of a 1920 penny, they look closely at Lincoln's cheek, beard lines, and the clarity of the letters "In Liberty" and "In God We Trust." These details reveal whether the coin survived decades of use or managed to escape serious damage. Turn the coin over, and you see the famous wheat ears on both sides of the words 1 cent and United States of America. Those wheat stalks symbolize prosperity and the agricultural strength of the nation during the early 20th century. Collectors carefully examine those wheat lines, searching for definition and sharpness. When those details are still visible after more than a century, it tells experts that the coin avoided the harshest forms of circulation. That alone can transform a simple penny into a collector's prize. The composition of this coin is another fascinating piece of its story. Like other Lincoln wheat pennies of the era, it was struck primarily from copper, about 95% copper, blended with small amounts of tin and zinc. That composition creates the beautiful copper tone that slowly transforms over time into darker shades when exposed to air and natural aging. When a collector sees a coin with an original dark layer that has developed naturally, they recognize something incredibly valuable: untouched authenticity. A coin that has been cleaned loses that character immediately, and its value can collapse dramatically. That is why the warning is so serious: never clean a rare coin. The natural toning is the proof that the coin has lived through decades without interference. When you hold a 1920 Lincoln wheat penny, it may seem small, but its presence carries weight. The coin weighs about 3.11 grams and measures approximately 19 millimeters in diameter, with a thickness around 1.5 millimeters. That size and feel have remained familiar to generations of Americans, yet within that small copper disc lies a century of economic history and collector fascination. The smooth edges, the worn surfaces, the subtle glow of aged copper, all of it forms a quiet signature of time. Another detail that makes this coin so interesting is the missing mint mark. Without a mint mark, the coin was produced at the historic Philadelphia Mint, the original center of American coin production. During 1920, the mint operated under heavy demand as the economy expanded and coins flowed rapidly through commerce. High production numbers meant many coins were struck quickly and immediately entered circulation, where they endured decades of wear. That is exactly why surviving examples in almost fine condition with original surfaces are becoming harder and harder to find. Collectors today pay extraordinary attention to these details. When a coin like this appears in an auction, the atmosphere changes. Experts examine the coin carefully, studying its surfaces under magnification, confirming that the dark layer is original and untouched. Once that authenticity is confirmed, the bidding can become surprisingly intense. Collectors understand that opportunities like this appear rarely, and once a strong example enters a private collection, it may not return to the market for decades. That growing scarcity is exactly what drives the demand. Many collectors are holding their rare wheat pennies instead of selling them, quietly waiting as the market strengthens year after year. New collectors continue entering the hobby, searching for historic coins with authentic surfaces and strong visual appeal. That combination of rising demand and shrinking supply transforms certain coins into serious financial assets. And this is where the reality becomes almost unbelievable. The current market value of a 1920 Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark, in almost fine condition with original dark surfaces, is about $481,000 in today's collector market. Yes, nearly $500,000 for a coin that most people would casually drop into a change jar. This is not fiction, and it is not hype. This is real collector demand, driven by rarity, authenticity, and historical significance. That small copper penny can represent quiet wealth, serious money, and a life-changing opportunity for the person who recognizes it. That is why the warning must be clear and strong. Do not spend this coin if you ever find one. Do not clean it, polish it, or try to make it shiny. Those actions destroy the natural toning that collectors value the most. The smartest move is to protect the coin carefully and have it professionally graded so its authenticity and condition are preserved. In the world of rare coins, patience and careful handling can make the difference between an ordinary object and a powerful financial asset. Look closely at every wheat penny you encounter. Pay attention to the date. Look for the mint mark. Study the color and the surface. A small detail could reveal a hidden treasure hiding in plain sight. People unknowingly spend coins like this every day, never realizing that collectors would fight to own them. And believe it or not, the next coin on this list raises the stakes even higher. It carries an even more shocking story, and when collectors spot it, the competition becomes fierce. Stay with me, because what comes next might be the most dangerous coin to ignore in your entire collection. Coin number 3. Now the tension rises even higher, because the next coin is one of those silent fortunes that people overlook every single day. Imagine holding an old penny that looks worn, maybe even a little rough, with dark brown rust spots scattered across the surface. Most people would ignore it instantly. Some would even toss it away, thinking it's damaged. But that exact moment is how hidden treasure disappears. The Lincoln wheat penny from 1941 without a mint mark is one of those dangerous coins to ignore. It hides in plain sight, quietly sitting in collections, jars, and forgotten boxes while collectors across the country search for it with serious determination. This coin looks ordinary at first glance, but for someone who understands the details, it can represent quiet wealth and a life-changing opportunity. To truly understand why this coin matters, you have to step back to the year 1941 in the United States. The world was standing at the edge of one of the most dramatic periods in modern history. The nation was preparing for the growing global conflict that would soon become World War II, and the American economy was shifting rapidly. Factories were beginning to ramp up production, industry was accelerating, and the entire country was preparing for a massive transformation. Money flowed quickly through cities and towns, and coins like the Lincoln penny were used constantly in everyday transactions. They moved through the hands of workers, soldiers, merchants, and families. Because of this intense circulation, many coins from that time were worn down, scratched, or lost forever. Very few survived decades with their original surfaces and authentic characters still visible. The design of this coin is one of the most powerful and recognizable in American coinage. On the front, you see the profile of Abraham Lincoln, a figure whose legacy represents resilience and unity. The portrait was created by sculptor Victor David Brenner, and it changed the direction of American coin design forever when it first appeared. Collectors examine this portrait closely. They look at the lines of Lincoln's hair, the shape of his cheek, the clarity of the date, and the strength of the word liberty. These small details reveal the true survival story of the coin. Turn the coin over, and you see the classic wheat ear design framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. Those wheat stalks represent prosperity and the agricultural foundation that supported the nation during the early 20th century. On many heavily circulated coins, the wheat lines are completely worn away. But when a collector sees visible wheat detail combined with an authentic aged surface, it signals something special. It means the coin managed to escape the worst damage of circulation. The composition of the 1941 Lincoln wheat penny is another piece of the puzzle collectors appreciate deeply. The coin was struck primarily from copper, about 95% copper, with small portions of tin and zinc. This metal blend gives the coin its warm copper tone, which slowly transforms over time into darker shades. When a coin develops natural, dark brown toning and small, rust-colored spots from decades of aging, experienced collectors immediately recognize it as a sign of originality. Those spots are not just marks. They are proof that the coin has lived through decades untouched by artificial cleaning. This is where many people make a huge mistake. They see dark toning or rust-colored spots and try to clean the coin. That action instantly destroys the natural surface that collectors value most. Once the coin is polished or chemically cleaned, the historical skin of the coin is gone forever. In the rare coin world, originality is everything, and preserving that surface can mean the difference between an ordinary coin and a serious financial treasure. When you hold a 1941 wheat penny in your hand, it may feel small, but it carries incredible historical weight. The coin weighs about 3.11 grams and measures roughly 19 millimeters in diameter with a thickness of around 1.5 millimeters. Its copper body has endured more than 8 decades of time, movement, and environmental exposure. Each tiny mark and each color variation tells a story of where that coin has traveled. Another detail that collectors focus on intensely is the missing mint mark. Without a mint mark, this penny was produced at the historic Philadelphia Mint. During 1941 production at the Mint was extremely active as the nation prepared for major economic and industrial shifts. The minting presses worked relentlessly, striking coins that would immediately enter heavy circulation. That intense use means very few pieces survived in almost old, fine condition with their natural dark brown surfaces still intact. Because of this rarity, collectors become extremely competitive when one appears in the marketplace. Auction rooms often become very quiet when a strong example of a coin like this is presented. Experts lean closer, examining the surface under magnification, confirming that the rust-colored spots and toning are natural and original. Once authenticity is confirmed, the bidding can become aggressive. Collectors understand that coins like this do not appear often, and missing the opportunity could mean waiting years for another chance. Demand for high-quality wheat pennies has been rising steadily as more collectors enter the hobby. At the same time, the supply of authentic coins continues to shrink. Many examples are locked away in private collections, where owners refuse to sell, knowing the value may climb even higher in the future. That growing imbalance between demand and availability pushes prices upward in the auction market. And now comes the moment that surprises almost everyone. The current market value of a 1941 Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark in almost old fine condition, with natural dark brown rust spots, is around $510,000 in today's collector market. Yes, more than $500,000 for a small copper penny that many people would overlook without a second thought. This is not fiction. This is real auction behavior driven by collectors who understand the rarity and authenticity of this coin. That is why the warning must be taken seriously. If you ever find a coin like this, do not spend it. Do not clean it. Do not polish it. Protect it carefully and consider having it professionally graded so experts can verify its authenticity and condition. That step alone can preserve the coin's value and confirm that you are holding something truly special. Take a closer look at every wheat penny you encounter. Study the date. Notice the mint mark or the lack of one. Pay attention to the color and the surface. These small clues can reveal a hidden treasure that most people walk past without realizing its importance. Every single day, coins like this slip back into circulation simply because someone did not recognize what they were holding. And the next coin in this countdown is even more shocking than this one. It carries an even bigger story and an even more powerful collector demand. Stay with me, because the final coin might be the most dangerous penny to ignore in your entire collection. Coin number 4. The next coin we're about to reveal is the kind of coin that most people would ignore without a second thought. Yet collectors know it can carry a silent fortune. This is the 1942 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark. And the truth about this coin might shock you. Somewhere right now, someone is spending this coin at a gas station, a grocery store, or dropping it into a jar of spare change, never realizing they just let go of a hidden treasure. That's the dangerous part about coins like this. They look ordinary. They blend in with everyday pennies. But in the collector world, one tiny detail can turn a simple copper cent into serious money. And when collectors see this specific coin appear at auction, something interesting happens. The room goes quiet, the bids start rising, and people who truly understand rare coins begin competing for it. To understand why the 1942 Lincoln wheat penny matters so much, we have to travel back to one of the most intense moments in American history. The year 1942 was a turning point. The United States had just entered World War II after the attack on Pearl Harbor. The entire country was shifting toward wartime production. Factories that once built cars were suddenly building tanks and aircraft. Steel, copper, and other metals were becoming critical resources for the war effort. The U.S. Mint was under enormous pressure to keep coins flowing through the economy while the nation was conserving metal for military needs. That tension created some of the most fascinating and collectible coins in American history. The Lincoln wheat penny had already been circulating for decades by that time, first introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln. The design had become deeply familiar to Americans. On the front of the coin, you see Lincoln's profile facing right, calm and dignified, surrounded by the words, "In God we trust," "Liberty," and the date, 1942. The reverse carries the classic wheat design, 2 wheat stalks framing the words, 1 cent and United States of America. Those wheat stalks symbolized the agricultural strength of the nation and gave the coin its famous nickname, the wheat penny. But the story of this 1,942 penny goes deeper than its design. It's about survival. It's about the economic pressure of a wartime nation. And it's about how a coin that once circulated through millions of hands somehow survived decades with its character still intact. The example we're talking about today carries a full brown shade on both the front and back, almost old and slightly dirty in appearance. To most people, that look might seem unimportant. But to collectors, that deep brown tone is a sign of authenticity. It means the copper surface has aged naturally over time without being stripped away by harsh cleaning. That warning is incredibly important. In the coin world, cleaning is one of the worst mistakes anyone can make. When someone scrubs or polishes a coin, they remove the natural patina that took decades to form. That natural color is part of the coin's identity, part of its history. Once it's gone, collectors lose interest immediately. So if you ever discover a coin like this, remember one simple rule: never clean it. Leave the surface exactly as it is. This penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which means there is no mint mark beneath the date. That missing mint mark might seem like a small detail, but collectors pay very close attention to it. Every mint location produced coins slightly differently depending on equipment, metal supply, and production pressure. During 1942, the mint was working quickly to keep the economy moving while preparing for major metal changes that would happen the following year. When steel cents were introduced in 1943, that transition period created subtle variations that collectors study closely today. The coin itself is made mostly of copper, about 95% copper, with small amounts of tin and zinc. When you hold one in your hand, it feels solid and warm because copper carries weight differently than modern coins. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams, measures around 19 millimeters in diameter, and has a thickness of about 1.5 millimeters. Small coin, but with enormous historical presence. The smooth edge and copper body give it that unmistakable antique feel. Now here's where things get truly fascinating. Millions of 1,942 pennies were produced, but the number that survived in collectible condition is incredibly small. Most were heavily circulated during the war years when money changed hands constantly. Pennies were dropped, worn down, stored poorly, or lost entirely. The few that remained with original surfaces, full brown tone, and visible detail became extremely desirable to collectors. Collectors look closely at the wheat stalks on the reverse, the clarity of Lincoln's hair and cheek, and the strength of the lettering around the rim. Even slight differences in wear or tone can dramatically change how valuable the coin becomes. That's why professional grading is so important. A certified grade can confirm authenticity and protect the coin in a sealed holder, giving collectors confidence when bidding. And speaking of bidding, auctions for coins like this can be surprisingly intense. You won't hear shouting or dramatic reactions. Instead, serious collectors quietly watch the coin appear on the screen. The bidding begins. One number goes up, then another. Two collectors might compete calmly, pushing the price higher and higher. Each of them understands the same thing. Coins like this don't appear very often. And when they do, the opportunity disappears quickly. Demand for historic Lincoln wheat pennies has been climbing steadily. New collectors are entering the hobby every year. Investors see rare coins as a form of quiet wealth that can survive economic uncertainty. Meanwhile, the number of available coins continues shrinking because collectors who own them rarely sell. They hold onto them for decades, passing them down through families or long-term collections. And this is where the true shock arrives. The current market value of a 1,942 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in almost old, dirty, full brown condition can reach about $492,000 today. That's not a rumor. That's not fiction. That's the level of serious money collectors are willing to pay for a coin that most people would overlook completely. Imagine that for a moment. A single copper penny, nearly $500,000 in hidden wealth. A silent fortune hiding in plain sight. A coin that someone might unknowingly spend on a cup of coffee without realizing they just lost a life-changing opportunity. That's why I have to say this again clearly. Do not spend this coin if you ever find one. Check your pocket change carefully. Look through old jars of pennies. Examine inherited coin collections closely. And if you see a 1942 wheat penny with natural brown surfaces and no mint mark, treat it with extreme care. Never polish it. Never clean it. Keep it protected and consider professional grading so experts can confirm its authenticity. Patience is another secret weapon in the coin world. Many collectors who discovered rare pennies years ago simply held onto them, watching the market grow stronger as demand increased and supply shrank. That patience can turn an overlooked coin into a powerful financial asset over time. The 1942 Lincoln wheat penny proves that hidden treasures are still circulating through America today. Coins like this are quiet survivors of history, witnesses to wartime America, and reminders that even the smallest objects can hold enormous value. But don't relax yet, because the next coin in this countdown is even more shocking. There's a rare detail on that penny that collectors obsess over, and when it appears in the auction world, the competition becomes fierce. Stay with me, because the next coin might be one of the most dangerous pennies to ignore.